I found the house almost by accident. It was deep in the mountains, far away from busy roads, shopping centers, and city noise. The listing was strange. Barely any photos, minimal description, and one sentence that stood out. Property has been vacant for several years. That alone scared most buyers away. But to me, it was perfect. The house was old, weathered, and clearly neglected. Paint peeling. Windows dusty. A long driveway overtaken by weeds. But beneath all that, I saw potential. A peaceful retreat. A place to rebuild, renovate, and finally breathe. After months of legal checks, inspections, and paperwork, I bought it fair and square. I had the deed. I had the keys. I had the law on my side. Or so I thought. The first day was quiet. Almost too quiet. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and felt that feeling homeowners dream of. This is my home. I started cleaning, taking measurements, planning renovations. That's when I noticed her. A woman standing at the edge of the property, arms crossed, staring. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She just watched. The next morning, she showed up again, this time walking straight toward me.
No introduction. No greeting.
Her first words were, "You're not supposed to be here." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. I said, "Actually, I own this house." Her face changed instantly. She told me she was part of the homeowners association and that this house had been abandoned for years, which, in her mind, meant no one was allowed to buy it without her approval. Then she said the sentence that still shocks me. "It's mine now." That same evening, the police arrived. Someone had reported trespassing. I showed them the deed. They apologized. They left. The next day, police again. This time, suspicious activity. Then, illegal renovations. Then, noise complaints. Then, threatening behavior. Every single
day.
The HOA Karen wasn't just calling the police. She contacted the city, the county, utility companies, contractors, neighbors. She told everyone. He stole the house. The sale was illegal. The HOA owns it. None of it was true. But lies don't need proof to cause chaos. I hired a lawyer. That's when I learned something terrifying. Even when harassment can still ruin your life. She filed false complaints. She sent letters. She demanded access to my property. She threatened lawsuits. All while smiling and saying, "I'm just protecting the neighborhood." One night, police arrived with 4 cars. Guns visible. Hands on holsters.
Why?
She claimed I was armed and dangerous. I wasn't. That was the moment I realized this wasn't about rules or HOA authority. This was about control. HOA Karens thrive on power. They believe rules matter more than people. Authority exists even without law. Fear equals respect. And when you don't submit, they escalate. I started recording everything. Every interaction. Every police visit. Every accusation. The officers began recognizing the address. One finally said, "Sir, we know who's calling." The final straw came when she tried to enter my house while I was gone. That was illegal. That was criminal. And that's when things changed. What happened next involved cease and desist orders, official HOA investigations, legal consequences, and a reality check she never expected. I won't spoil the ending here, but I promise. I'm sharing this because HOA abuse is real. Property harassment happens. Silence protects bullies. If this video helps even one person understand their rights, it's worth it. By the second week, the mountain no longer felt peaceful. Every morning, I woke up expecting the sound of birds. Instead, I expected sirens. The HOA Karen had made it her full-time mission to make my life unbearable. The local police department now knew my name. One officer sighed as he stepped out of the car and said, "Sir, we're really sorry about this." They explained that as long as someone keeps calling, they are required to respond, even if the claims are false. That's when I realized something terrifying. She didn't need to be right. She just needed to keep calling. Her complaints became more creative. Illegal occupancy, unsafe construction, environmental violations, disturbing wildlife, threatening the community. None of it made sense. The house had been abandoned for years, yet suddenly, I was somehow destroying a neighborhood that barely existed. Then the letters started arriving. Official-looking envelopes. Beau funds. Threatening language. They claimed I owed fines, I violated HOA bylaws, I needed written approval to live in my own house, one letter stated. Failure to comply may result in seizure of property. That's when I knew this had crossed from harassment into delusion. I took everything to a lawyer. The deed. The police reports. The HOA letters. He looked at me and said, "They have no authority over this property." None. The house was never legally part of the HOA. That didn't stop her. One afternoon, while I was unloading renovation supplies, she stormed onto my driveway. I calmly told her, "You're trespassing." She laughed. She said, "This neighborhood existed before you. I decide who lives here." Then she pointed at the house and said again, "It's mine now." I started recording. She noticed. Her tone changed instantly. She backed up, adjusted her posture, and suddenly acted calm. That moment proved everything. She knew exactly what she was doing. And now I had proof. That night, I received the most dangerous police visit yet. 4 squad cars. Lights flashing. Officers tense. The report claimed, a man at the abandoned house is armed and threatening neighbors. That was a lie. A dangerous one. The officers approached carefully, hands near their weapons. After checking everything, one officer pulled me aside and said quietly, "This can't continue." For the first time, she was warned. The police informed her that continued false reports could lead to criminal charges. Her response? People like this don't stop when confronted with facts. They stop when they lose control. And she was losing it. The abandoned house wasn't just a building to her. One afternoon, I returned home and found something chilling. The front door had been opened. Nothing was stolen, but someone had been inside. A neighbor later confirmed they saw her walking up the driveway earlier that day. That was no longer harassment. That was a crime. Between recorded confrontations, police reports, witness statements, false HOA fines, the pattern became clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was targeted harassment. When my lawyer filed a formal complaint, everything escalated fast. Cease and desist letters.
HOA investigaton.
Official county reviews. And suddenly, she went quiet. Too quiet. This isn't just about one HOA Karen. It's about what happens when power goes unchecked, authority is imagined, and one person decides rules don't apply to them, and how this nightmare finally ended. The silence didn't mean peace. It meant preparation. For the first time since I bought the abandoned mountain house, there were no police cars. No letters.
No surprise visits.
And that's when I knew something was coming. Behind the scenes, things were finally moving. The county opened an official review after receiving multiple false police reports, evidence of harassment, unauthorized HOA enforcement, recorded trespassing. What shocked everyone was this. The abandoned house had been wrongly assumed to fall under HOA control, and she had been exploiting that assumption for years. During the investigation, something unexpected happened. I wasn't the first victim. Former homeowners, renters, and even contractors came forward. Stories poured in. Fines that made no sense, threats of property seizure, intimidation, false reports. She had done this before. I was just the first person who didn't back down. One afternoon, I received a call from the police department. Not a visit. A call. The officer said, "We need you to come in and give a statement. This is no longer about nuisance calls." That's when it became real. False reporting isn't just annoying. It's illegal. And when it becomes a pattern, it becomes criminal. The next time I saw her, she didn't look confident.
No clipboard.
No fake authority.
No shouting.
She avoided eye contact.
This is my home.
For someone who once
I'm
said,
so
"It's mine
grateful
now,"
for it.
she suddenly wanted nothing to do with the house. Here's what happened next. Without exaggeration, she was formally warned by the county. The HOA was forced to issue a written apology. All fines were voided. A restraining order was discussed. False police reports were documented. And most importantly, for the first time, I could work in silence.
No sirens. No threats. No harassment.
The abandoned mountain house slowly became what it was meant to be, a home. Renovations continued. Neighbors waved again. The nightmare ended. This story isn't just about an HOA Karen. It's about standing your ground, knowing your rights, documenting everything, not letting intimidation when bullies rely on silence. The moment you push back with facts, evidence, and patience, the illusion of power collapses. I shared this because too many people give up their homes, pay fines they don't know, live in fear.